Chris, 73%, 5 A-star Cs. How did this school achieve that?
Great deal of hard work from the staff and the students, fantastic effort. Year 11 really got behind the changes that George and myself had made and the staff had made. It's such a determined effort. Our target was 65%. We really would have been happy with anything over 60, to be honest. We had some good early entry. Alright, we did not submit the coursework until June, so some of them sat exams early, but we had good early entries results. So we thought, well, we're going to hit our target, but to hit 73%, I must admit, I'm not often surprised in education, but that was a result beyond, you know, my expectation. To hit 73% is fantastic, and I'm just so pleased for the staff and students who worked so hard to achieve that result.
George, were these changes, the 73%, was that achieved just not only academically, but also the ethos and the structure that you've inculcated in the school?
Well, very much so. I mean, our ethos is pace, purpose and pride. And by that, so the pace is obviously the speed of change in the school, but it's obviously preparing students for the sort of fast world ahead of them. And our purpose being that every single child can make progress and be successful, and we very much believe in that. And our data analysis is absolutely forensic. We look at every single child, and we spend hours looking at what intervention that we can do for every single child to make sure that they achieve their make sure they achieve and exceed their targets, and obviously giving them a sense of pride in themselves. And what's really pleasing about the 73%, and it's a great headline figure, but every single group in the school made better than expected progress. So our special educational needs students made fantastic progress, so did our gifted and talented, so did any ethnic group did fantastically well. Free school meals students got 68%, which is again miles above the national average, and is very, very life-changing for those students. So it's an incredible achievement.
And you mentioned the staff. It's the whole staff are on board.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. Obviously 5 A's to C's, including maths and English, so you've only got English maths, but you've got all the other subjects as well, so it's a whole staff effort. And what we also got through to the staff really right from the beginning was that even if you don't teach year 11, you are still part of the story, because it's supporting staff. And for example, we had one member of staff who consistently took over lessons from somebody else to free them up to teach year 11. So it was a real team effort in the school.
This is a film and a news item based in September 2012. If we go, and it's not a history film, but if we go back to when you first came in, could you just take us through a little bit about that first few weeks?
It's interesting. I mean, a school that's massively damaged from 5 head teachers in 5 years, a huge turnover of head teachers, and a lack of continuity and stability. And of course, when George and myself came along, it was, all right, who are you, another head teacher, to knock out, so to speak. How long are you going to last? A term or two or whatever. So on that front gate in the morning, with over 100 students late to school, on the first morning, with over 100 blazes being given out on the morning gate, and walking around, having somebody watching CCTV all the time so we can get children back into lessons rather than being in the corridor, so to speak. Huge. Going around to every classroom, taking assemblies, talking about expectations and aspirations was hugely important. George and myself virtually sat down on a weekly basis and wrote an action plan every week about what we wanted to succeed in that week to generate the pace, which is really important. We introduced the accountability cycle, we introduced the Gaining Ground programme, teacher learning programme quite early on. These structures in place, because it was a school that was really lacking structures. But always there were some staff here that were really good and really trying their best against all the odds. And the best thing about the school, even then, was the students. They really wanted to get behind the school. They really wanted to see it improve, and that's what happened. So, there's a huge amount of encouragement and positivity if you could wade yourself through the negativity and the whole sort of like black cloud that had really hovered over this school for a number of years.
George, there seems to be a real synergy between what Lord Harris's philosophy and the philosophy that you had over in Chafford 100 and still have, and the philosophy you have here. How do you all work together?
Well, I mean, obviously, what's now called Harris Academy Chafford 100, they were the first school, and the reason why they wanted to join the Harris Federation was it was about that business the business or ethic to education, and it's being tough, but having very, very high standards, very, very high expectations of students and staff, and that's the way that you achieve results. Because the thing is that, yeah, 73% is great, but that's behind every number there's actually a child, and that's something that the Harris Federation really believes in. They never forget that, you know, behind these figures, it's great being the most improved school in the country and whatnot, but behind that it's actually all about students. And so the synergy is definitely there. It's a business-like approach to education, but it's a business-like approach with a huge amount of caring and support in the background, because actually for those students who didn't get it, obviously, you know, we've still worked incredibly hard with them, changing their lives. 99% of our students got 5 A's to C, 73 with Maths and English, but 99%. And that's amazing. So those children have still got a future ahead of them, and we work really closely with the families, trying to sort out all sorts of issues that they might have. So it's not just about the academics.
It's not. It doesn't seem to be for everybody though. The brand of the Harris Federation, I personally find it quite strange. Sometimes, you know, but why is it that some people don't think the brand is for every school?
Well, it's an interesting question, because for me it's very student-centred, so I can't understand why it's not for everybody, because it's massively student-centred. The opportunities that the children get within the Harris Federation and the strong network, you know, of schools collaborating. I've always believed that schools can collaborate. Of course, if you've got a very outstanding federation, you've got a very strong network there, that's really helpful. The benefits are huge. But I think it's the accountability. You know, I think accountability should be embraced. There's a huge amount of accountability, quite rightly so, in the Harris Federation, quite rightly, you know, within this business model that we talk about. And I think some people are fearful of accountability rather than embracing it and taking on the challenge of that to benefit the students at the end of the day. You know, you take an academy and make it student-centred to benefit the students. The staff, then, is a better place for the staff to work. And they can see them also having success and also getting better. And the same, you know, myself, George, and we say, we like a challenge, we like to embrace that accountability, and we like to work for a federation where there's the highest of expectations, so that you know that if you are successful within the federation, that you really have achieved something and you've been successful in your professional career.
So George, 2012, 2013, we've done history, let's do the future. What can we expect?
Well, building work will start on a new building early next year, so we've obviously, with the backing of Lord Harris, we've managed to secure you know, a huge amount of money to build a brand new school, one of only 6 schools in the country to be in the fast track programme, and not part of PFI or anything, money straight from the Treasury. So we're going to be building a brand new state-of-the-art building, really to make us the best school in Greenwich, and which will be fantastic. So we're going to be building that starting early in the spring, and then within 2 years we'll have a brand new building. So that's the first thing. In terms of results, well, the bar's been raised, quite rightly. So next year, 5 A's to C, including Maths and English, is still the measure, but of those 5, you're only allowed 1 BTEC, whereas at the moment you're 3, which is much, much harder. However, our results are not going to go down. So our target for next year is going to be 82%, 5 A's to C, including Maths and English, which if we achieve, will really make us very, very outstanding. Not just outstanding, but very outstanding. So that's where we're going to be in a year's time. And obviously, by the time of our next Ofsted inspection, we aim to be outstanding in every single area of the school.
Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you.